Good morning, Brother Ron. How are you this morning?
Fine, thank you. Good morning. Blessings to you.
Blessings to you, Brother Ron. Ron, it's been a long time coming. Today's date, March 12th, 2023. Tomorrow will be March 13th. And many moons ago, March 13th had a particular resonance in our lives. It was the day that the Grenada Revolution took place, and we'll talk about that. But Ron, I wanted to say for the record, for those who in years to come, after we've long gone, will see this, I first met you in the early 70s. I would have been maybe in first or second form. When did you return to Dominica, Ron? What year?
I returned to Dominica on the 8th of October, 1974, full-time, and that was day one of Desmond Trotter's trial. I went from the airport straight to the court.
Amazing. Day one of Desmond Trotter's trial. And you know, what's interesting is I would have been, so I came to grammar school in 72. I was in first form from 72 to 73, second form from 73 to 74. So I would have only been in second form at the time you came. And I think I began to associate with you right away. And that is what led, that was the genesis of our relationship. So I would have known you from about the age of 13. In 74, I was 13 years old.
Okay.
And now I'm 62 years old. So that's a long time. You know, that's more than 50 years. You know?
Yes.
Well, yes, indeed. Almost 50 years. Ron, next year will be 50 years. Ron, where were you born and when were you born?
I was born in Roseau, 21st of November, 1940.
Yeah.
Parents, Alex Shillingford Green, and my father, Vivian Green.
Yes. How do you spell Alex?
A-L-I-X.
Okay. And Alex, Vivian, well, your mother was a Shillingford?
Yeah.
Yes. Who would have been her family? Would it A.C. Shillingford have been her father? Or?
Peterson was her father, and so that my uncles would have been her brothers, Wilfred Shillingford, who is the father of Henry, Fitz Shillingford, Pat Shillingford, and my aunts would have been Hermia Arlene, that's the mother of Brian.
Yes.
Joy Burton, who is the mother of Trevor Burton, and Joy, yeah, those are the two that stick in my mind, yeah.
It's interesting because when I would go to your home in 1974, thereabouts, you lived up that way next to Macmillan's gas station where the Burtons lived. In that general area.
Very temporary, yeah. That's just passing through there, yeah, right. Because I just come back, I had no place to stay, so basically it was a surprise to my relatives, but I had packed everything and just come home, and so I had a few temporary stops before I settled where I was going to be staying.
Well, I must admit, you know, that's interesting. So it meant that I must have met you very early into your entry because that's where I remember you. You know.
Okay.
So that means I must have met you almost immediately. And there's a reason for that, because I believe by the 1971-72 period, my older brother, deceased Dr. Gabriel Christian, who was a classmate of Desmond Trotter, they had taken part in a walkout when Brother Estrada had supposedly kicked a student over Afro hairstyle, which was not allowed, and they'd walked out. So he had brought home, Wellesley had brought home Che Guevara's guerrilla warfare in 1971. And he had also brought home, well, I think my other brother Lawson had brought home W.B. Du Bois, The Souls of Black Folk. So those are the so the MND whole Black Power thing was already in ferment. So I think as soon as you came home, I was in your circle. And then, of course, you allowed me to come into your home. So the Shillingfords, so those persons who will listen to this, are descended from 3 white brothers from Yorkshire, England, who came in the late 1700s to Dominica. And Irving Andre has had occasion to write the history of the Shillingford family, focus on A.C. Shillingford, but dealing with the entire Shillingford family. And I actually did the review on that very important work of persons who came. I'm sorry?
I've seen it, but I haven't had a chance to read it. But the book.
Yes, yes. Well, if you don't have a copy, I'll try and get your copy and send it to you, because it's a very interesting work. But it speaks to the sort of plantation economy society that was formed of French men and women and English men and women, or what you call people from what is now the United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, England, coming to Dominica, Wales, as part of the apparatus of what was a slave state. So you're descended from those persons and Africans. And I guess the Greens, your paternal line, similarly had some antecedents or roots in the United Kingdom. Is that right?
I would be very keen to know more about Edward Richard, who's buried, in fact, just less than 60 yards from my home right here in La Plaine. He was Edward Richard Green. I could get the dates of his birth, but he's buried right here, less than 60 yards away. He was my great-grandfather. And he was
Edward Richard Green.
Yes, yeah. He was a
Do you have any photographs of him?
He was a black man. I don't have any handy, but I've seen pictures. You know, I could probably get. Yeah.
Yeah. So Edward Richard Green, your great-grandfather, was a black man.
Correct.
Okay.
And a magistrate. Very odd. Context of
interesting. So, well, he was a man of substance then, because he to be a magistrate more than 100 years ago. And to be a black person certainly meant he was a person of substance. Was he a landowner?
Yeah, it appeared that he was the first owner of the land here in La Plaine, or he purchased an estate in La Plaine at some point in time, because both he, my grandfather, spent the last 15, 20 years of their lives in La Plaine. That's why I ended up in La Plaine, in a sense.
Yes. Ron, before we go any further, I want to acknowledge, for those who would see this, just a brief moment of silence for our brother Alwyn Bully, who was the designer of the Dominican flag, but also someone who was part of that uprising of consciousness and nationhood in the 1970s on Dominica. A moment of silence for brother Alwyn Bully, who passed away, I believe, on what would have been the 8th or 9th of March, 2023. The news is still coming out. Is it the 8th or the 9th?
I'm not sure. It was 2-3 days ago, yeah.
2-3 days ago. One of those days. So a moment of silence for Alwyn Bully. A blessed memory. And we give condolences to his wife Anita and his family. Ron, so so you're born in 1940, which is the height of the war. France has just been defeated. French people are pointing to Dominica, but you're born into that time, but you're very young, so you wouldn't remember any of that.
None of that. I don't remember.
What do you understand your parents have been doing around that time for a living?
I'm not too sure. I don't remember too much about the time. I just know that sometime at about 5 years old, my father migrated to the States. He was working as a pharmacist at Green's Pharmacy and wanted to pursue dentistry. So left for the States in 45. I would have been 5 years old. And
okay, so he left right around the time as the war was coming to an end.
It looks like it. And it seems like almost immediately as he arrived in the States, he joined the Navy, US Navy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I was deposited, as it were, not meant to be disrespectful, but I was deposited with my grandfather and grandmother, that is Rupert Marcus Green, who was the town clerk in the Rosa Town Council, right at that house close to Flo, next to in Roseau, Central Roseau, Hillsborough Street. So that's
before you go any further, you were born in 40, but did you have any other siblings?
Yes, I have a brother, 2 brothers and a sister.
Let me have the name of the brothers.
All right, Geoff Green, who was an architect, lives in Cochrane right now.
Joff, how do you spell Joff?
Joffre.
G.
Joffre.
Okay, and the other one?
Lowell Green.
Lowell.
Lowell.
Yeah. My father tells me during the war there's a famous American journalist called Lowell Thomas, and he was always on the radio. When was Joff born? What year? Do you know?
Joff is 43.
Okay.
Lowell was born in the States actually in 50.
Okay. And your sister?
Sister Avenel Green.
Avonelle?
Avenel.
Avenel.
Yeah.
One L.
Yeah.
Okay. And when was she born?
She would have been